You pick up the payphone's handset. A dolphin emblem smiles at you, its eyes wide. You step away. The ladder hugs the edge of the canal, rusty in at its rungs. Darkened patches show where the water level was risen, lowered, then risen again. The water's reddish tinge and oily distortions across the slick surface make it hard to see far. Wet cloth and iron dust. Foul. Chemical. Tiny silhouettes drift beneath the surface, darting in irregular arcs. The canal passes right under the building. It's an old waterlock, used to grant passage to boats and barges passing through. Looking at the device, you don't see a panel or switch. That would suggest a control room nearby. Like the one over there, to the east. The building above looms, expectant. The intercom is covered by a protective plastic film. A button embossed in the shape of a cheerful dolphin shines at the bottom. Yet another device bearing the Renotel emblem, only recently installed too. It curls under the edge of your fingernail and slides off in a single, unbroken piece. Nothing happens. The lights are off. There's nobody to answer at night. Try again during business hours. The revealed intercom gleams as you turn. Rubbish is piled so high it overflows the rim of the metal container. The sanitation crews are running behind schedule. The layers of detritus are many days deep. A whole history of discarded artifacts is piled up in front of you. This bin is an archive. Search it and you may conjure the recent history of this place. You jump up to the rim and let your upper body descend into the rotting wastes-cape. It's like you're entering the putrid lands of some dark fantasy. Like the pulpy dreck you used to read as a child, with titles like Ditch Wader, The Gore Chamber, and the Dreadlance Trilogy. Somewhere in your mind, an ancient motor grinds to life. Corpses damp with blood line the dirt path you walk. Even the trees reaching out from the furrowed fields are dead and not. The bodies multiply and get more decayed the further you go. Soon, you can no longer see the humanity that was once in them. You are now wading through a pungent mire of stringy sinew. Stomach acid and melted muscle drags at your legs until you... But not all is lost. The journey has won you a treasure from deep inside the trash container. It's a huge amount of plastic cutlery and paper plates. The only places that would need such a high volume of cheap tableware are schools and prisons. Most likely a faulty order that came in through the docks, disposed of nearby. Any other explanation quickly becomes a lot more mysterious. You have reached the end of this path. Everything has been recorded and will be stored within your inner archives. The layers of detritus are many days deep. This bin is an archive. Search it and you may conjure the recent history of this place. The rubbish container and all its spoils.
You shouldn't be here.
The big man was dozing off. Now he's trying to cover it up with a vulgar display of authority.
Please don't. I'll get enough of that from the wife. You can have her if you like. Anyway, like I said, you shouldn't be here. Bit of a hold-up with a barge over there. He nearly got robbed by a gang, no less. Nothing was taken, luckily, but they did manage to break the damn thing's engine. So now it's stuck there until the replacement parts arrive. Oh, very dangerous. Probably one of the Azuri lot. Yeah, you wouldn't want to mess with them, miss.
Azuri mob is a foreign crime syndicate you've only heard about in passing. Always with a warning to stay away.
No. Full-grown adults. I heard one of them even had a beard. The parts may take a while as the trade route slowed up recently. Used to be a lot quicker a couple of weeks ago. The rest of the developed world. Must be something at the docks by the bazaar. But I wouldn't know more specifically, outside of my jurisdiction. You can't go in there, I'm afraid. That's what I'm here for. No one gets in. Only the controls to the water lock, but we can't risk anyone lowering the water right now. It would damage the barge even further, you see. Can't say I have. I'm not usually stationed round here though, so I wouldn't. Let's see now. I hear it's in the back ways, right next to where the ex-pilots drink their sheep carcass juice. Some indigenous recipe of theirs. Imagine the worst thing you've ever tasted. Now imagine sucking it out of a dead sheep's arse.
Please don't imagine that. Definitely don't be tempted to drink it either.
If you want to see for yourself, just walk the path all the way to the west. until you come across some old men giving each other an hard time. Only one in the near vicinity is Dr. Hugo's. He runs it out of his houseboat at the end of the backways. You probably shouldn't.
The young man leans back, his gaze slowly tracing your outline. Both of his eyes drift outwards, as if pulled by different horizons.
Hold up. Before you say a word, are you single? Or is this punishment for my voluminous sins? A line, she says. That was my heart speaking. Anyway, what do you need help with, baby girl? Mostly, you look gorgeous. But appearances don't mean much. People see me, they don't always see a guy working 24 angles across 5 timelines. But that's the kind of services I provide. My name is Gold Eyes. I am a man of many endeavors. Baby, not only am I a businessman, I am a purveyor of taste. I curate high-class aesthetics and deliver low-overhead miracles. Sometimes it's fashion, sometimes it's conversation pieces. And I got fresh weed, too. Universe provides.
Theft, obviously.
If you ever need to help yourself to the world's supplies, I have just the thing.
Presented between his finger and thumb, a small but sturdy metal prong, a lockpick.
The freshest.
Astounding. Must have been harvested just a few days ago.
You'll be seeing lizards and volcanoes with this train. That's not a guarantee, but it's not a lie either. What? With the neon bibs, Lucian snacks, all of that? That's not my movement. Here works for me, making moves on my own accord, and I don't do bootlegs. Ever. Just weed, on account of it being part of my religion. Everything else is haram.
You don't have to use it to sell it.
I said all I can say on that.
He means that. If he said otherwise, he'd be going against some kind of code.
I don't mind the aesthetics. It's not about the quality either. It's the principle of them. Whenever someone says bootleg, all I hear is almost. You almost got money. You almost got taste. You almost. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Shit is just hollow, you know? And I don't mind anyone wearing this stuff. Maybe that's all they can afford, but you live long enough and close enough. Maybe you start to forget the real shit. Alright, tell me what's on your mind. Forget about him. I can give you everything he can, and more. I'm always serious with you, but okay, I can see that fire in your eyes. I haven't seen him, promise. The one and only. Eyes? Sure. You haven't seen a goat? Their eyes are all bugged out. But you know they have that savagery inside them. I respect the goats. That's why I picked the name myself. They got those little beards. That's graceful.
The ruler of a future kingdom, his throne already concrete in his mind. He stares right back, blinking slowly. A practiced calm. He knows how he looks and dares you to question the asymmetry.
Nah, I'm no Kizak boy. I come here to work, and I go home. That's about it. It's not meant for me, is it? Not these days. I remember being 12. Me and my friends coming here just to watch the pelota fights. Drunk fans going at each other with screwdrivers over bets and shit. But hey, I like tourists with money. And tourists love Kizar. It's got colors, it's got music. No better place to pass through before heading home. Born and raised in Lower Viewless. An hour away by tram, but the line's old. My mother's a Rustam woman. Inland blood. Came to Portofino with her parents when she was 11. She raised me on hibiscus tea and stories about the commune.
The dream of Rustam. For 80 years, there were no kings or bosses, only rotating councils, grain cooperatives, and radio poets. As the developed world spread, the dream cracked.
It's quiet. If you're used to shouting, neighborhood's made up of 14 towers. Astor had it built in the 50s, for immigrants mostly. We got a barber, Timo, with the solid tattoos, old Khalfi selling candles out the windows, best bakeries in town. You should visit, bring your friends. And you'd never know it according to those travel pamphlets they hand out. They got all of you that's colored orange in there, like it's dangerous. Nah, sure, you got kids with glassy eyes and break-ins, but we're civilized, yeah? Old people, they think low of you that's with clean up, look decent. We're not the ones scared of poverty. The GMs, half of them owe me money. Some grew up and viewed us. We fried plantains on the same radiators. Is Maurito still working the bazaar? Yeah, you're not from here. Look, don't worry too much about the GMs. If I were to stay away from anyone, it'd be the Carabineros. These fuckers don't fix problems. They pull them out like teeth. Suspicion, that's all. No good talking about it. Won't change anything. You just be careful around them. Take a break. I have a lot to offer. Love to. Take a break. I have a lot to offer. I'll be seeing you.
Not one step further, bored scum. I'll do it. I'll enjoy it too. I think I can probably come just from watching the drama sink into your face, right before the oxygen stops reaching my brain for good. I know false concern when I see it. 3 years in pediatric oncology.
Pupils track you like a cornered animal trying to recognize the butcher. His left foot twitches in anticipation of the jump.
So you conspicuously not talking to your little colleague out there. I know you're from the medical board, and I know he's been watching me. Pathetic. Did they even train you? If you're not bored, which you fucking are, then go and deal with the stain of narc shit lurking outside. I know that scarf of his is a fucking wire. Right outside. Small stature, big hair, bigger scarf. I knew his superior would be a woman. Stench of xenophobia all over him. No one takes down Dr. Gonzalo E.S. Gonza, except Gonzalo E.S. Gonza.
His eyes flash.
Bring me one of his lines, scheming, bored, narc teeth. Actual, yes. Narc canines, bearing the mark of their subhuman nature. Leave that to the medical professional. You have no idea what I can see in a tube. If I had his spleen, I could tell you how his dog mother conceived him. Here, use this. My board condemned Freiburg. Because of his history of use. Primitive superstition typical of the medical board. Bluff it until I see it. Jealousy, as far as I can tell.
In this context, jealousy translates to gross violations of medical and/or human decency.
What can I say? My methods were too effective for those handicapped children running the board. They babble on about modernization, best practices, international standards. But the fact is, they shit themselves in the presence of a real doctor.
He looks down, vaguely surprised, shrugs.
You never get credit for the blood you leave in. What am I, your mother? Rub cocaine on it. That'll numb almost anything. Don't shit me, you wired fuck. You and whoever's listening are not going to lure me in with ethically stimulating cases again. I'm not going to fall for the oldest trick in the book, wire narc. I am admitting to nothing.
Presumably for the benefit of the wire you're not wearing.
And while we're on the record, may I just add, the albino was going to die anyway. I'll do as I very well please, bored harpy.
The boy shifts in his cocoon of mismatched fabric. Moonlight shimmers across a holographic patch on his sleeve. The patch reads, Marco.
How'd you know my name?
He narrows his eyes, chin raised, and looks down at his sleeve.
Oh yeah, you're right. Protection from what? Oh, okay. Nah, it's from La Luz. It's the Saltatsuri Dream on Neon. Personalized.
With a flick, the boy shows off the sleeve's electric magenta trim. Black tags dangling from the hem chime loudly.
What? They're all different. My friend's got a red one. Yeah? Alright. I don't know. I don't know.
Doesn't know much, this one.
I hang out like everyone else. It's normal. What? Yeah? Tried once. He screamed at me about bored narking and threw what looked like, dunno, something supposed to be internal at me. Kidney bite. Would have been pretty cool if he wasn't such a mad freak. I know. He keeps shouting at me. He thinks I'm a narc. I'm no narc, and I got a D in biology. Ask me anything about biology, I'll get it wrong. One? It's better than Dicko.
This boy is not a bored narc, Cascade. He glances up at you from the ground. His expression of furtive shame, as characteristic of puberty as the acne and fuzz on his cheek.
I'm not. He gave you that to intimidate me, yeah? Thinks I'm scared? Well, I'm not. What do you mean I should be? I'm not afraid of any pry bar, and I have plenty of teeth. Why not? I don't care. I've been to the dentist like 10 times. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Take one of my teeth, yeah? Show him I don't give a fuck about his mad shit. I have my own shit going on out here. I'm on a mission. And if mission demands teeth, then fuck it. Have teeth.
He's willing to bleed for this. Whoever sent him is way scarier than any board inspector. The store has been left unattended. A haphazard arrangement of paperbacks and hardcovers that have seen better days. A handwritten sign teeters on top of one of the stacks of books. Books 10 sol, magazines 5 sol. Place money in the box. Viva la comunidad. Relic of the district's more communitarian heritage. A few scrawled tags separate the various teetering piles into vague sections. Depends on how much you enjoy predictable pursuits of serial killers, variably through occult forests and the urban stage. Unfortunately, the stall's offerings look pretty bare. Nothing catches your eye. A shelf of scuffed books are united by their preference for black and apocalyptic reds. On their spines, a series of grandiose words large enough to fill the universe. Equivalency, Heracles, Vantalangicon, Annihilation, Singularity, Nanoscale, Hyperdrive. Two of the titles stand out to you above the others. Light March of the Chosen and Greed in the Interzone. Pulpy space opera, not at its finest. The characters are heavily stereotypical, the plot is erratic, and there are spelling errors on nearly every page. A bunch of religious cultists travel through outer space in search of what they believe to be their god, but end up being swallowed by a planet. According to the back of the book, there are more than 3 million copies in print. Despite its dull cover, it seems to be an outright attack on the current state of reality, realized as an adventure through a futuristic city that thrives on depravity. A notorious Lusian novelist and heroin addict. After her work attracted the attention of the Ministry of Mass Culture, Farseed was forced to flee for the relative protection of the Eastern Republics. The author photo shows her sat on a disheveled bed, about to jab a needle into her arm, biting a tourniquet wrapped tightly around the target limb. Between all the gay sex, violence, and drug-taking, there's a serious point about how we're being held back by the unfettered impulses of the ruling class. It's not much different to a modern-day city, except the laws are much more lax and what would be considered immoral now has become fairly normal. It seems everyone in this society is too busy being sordid to develop any meaningful technological advances. If anything, he would object to labeling it fiction. The book resumes its place among the others, its degenerate content perfectly camouflaged. Hundreds of printed materials, well used, slumber before you. By far the largest collection, you see a wild range of material, from an anti-aging guide to a series of books all by the same author, Vitor Kampf. A prominent Lusian philosopher whose works have occasionally crossed over into international interest. Doesn't seem familiar. He gazes back at you from the cover, darkly handsome in glossy black and white, with the far-off look of an old film star. Underneath it is stated, the philosophical bad boy for our times. You'd be surprised. There are some shocking cases of plagiarism out there. A large space is allocated to the genre, but most of the books have been taken. Only a few worn stragglers remain. One of them doesn't even have any pages, just a dust jacket. You flip through the stack of slim, staple-bound periodicals. Faded fashion catalogues 6 years out of date. Softcore adult mags, a gun magazine, and a lot more. Most magazines tend to be, especially those that people donate to a project like this one. The more recent issues focus on the emergent Lusian styles. The oldest among them feature Portaferan clothes, local-made textiles from the famous silk factories. Masked models stalk glossy pages, unidentifiable yet distinct, in monochromatic pieces with striking silhouettes. Your eye wanders to another Lusian cover in a less austere register. Teenage figures boast digital visors, baggy jumpsuits, runic charms. Holographic animals circle their bodies. Project. A headline beside these gadgets prompts readers to find your soul animal. Take it everywhere you go. And spiritual dilemmas are simply the mind yearning for hard labor. Every shirt and dress catches the light brilliantly, rippling like coastal waves in golds, reds and purples as they hang off each posed body. The craftsmanship is obvious, as if the seamstress manipulated a fragment of a fallen star. While it lacks the New Age surprise of the Lusian clothes, there is a much warmer, living feel to it all. Attitudes like that make their promise of a future devoid of humanity move even closer. A big win for productivity. No more of that pesky human error to contend with. Hundreds of magazines beg for your attention with their colourful covers. You're bombarded by cheesecakey photos of grinning nude and semi-nude models. The occasional coy shot hints at full bush. If they take them without paying, then they will be marked as dishonourable. It's pretty clear how it works. More and more of the smooth, young flesh passes before your eyes. It quickly starts to feel repetitive as you glance up and down the bikini-clad bodies. The lineup of promiscuous women almost seems to wave goodbye as you once again hide their naughty covers. Turns out, it's not a magazine at all. The Wang Guide to Improvised Firearms Volume 2. Reloadable pipe gun with push feed. It unfolds to become a long accordion-like pamphlet, with text on one side and diagrams of a homemade gun on the other side. Grounded, practical, amoral. It is exactly what it promises to be. You do the dishonest thing. Nothing changes in the world. One cover catches your eyes. It depicts a leather-clad man, looking intensely grim with a large sword on his back. A label warns of ultra-violent content. The Hombre, Volume 5, Issue A. You've seen that name before. browsing at the newsstand while Tempo badgered and bartered over cigarettes. A quick flip through reveals the amount of blood spilled is only matched by the sheer amount of nudity. You do the dishonest thing. Nothing changes in the world. You sloppily rearrange the magazines into some semblance of order. You turn away from the piles of books. The Wang Guide to Improvised Firearms, Volume 2. A low-budget clandestine publication, somewhere between fanzine and paperback. The author's name is listed on the first page as Ji Cheng Wang. As it must be. This is a genre of literature neither written nor consumed by respectable individuals. It consists of some 60 pages of text, followed by an appendix with cut-out schematics for the body of the gun. Ostensibly a how-to guide, it doubles as a philosophical inquiry into the subject of firearms ethics. Firearms good, ethics bad. There are times in the conduct of human affairs when it becomes necessary to wang someone or something. This is a reality. There are, however, some preliminary considerations to disseminate. You would too, if your name was synonymous with death. Are you asking yourself whether you should or should not use the information in this book to build yourself a highly illegal firearm? Alas, there are many such decisional pitfalls in our world. Law-abiding individuals are treated with the utmost derision. If this book could wang 'em all, it would. It goes on extensively, the tone veering back and forth between sardonic hand-washing and outright murder advocacy. Probably not. Do you want to? Wang is the theory, and Wang is the practice. Across time and space, you feel another intelligence reaching out to you. Insane, methodical, murderous. The perfect guide for making a killing implement out of junk. The instructions specify materials for a 6-shot pipe gun with push feed. 500-gram hard plastic melted down, 1 coin 10mm diameter, 1 broomstick or wooden dowel, 1 aluminium can, tools, glue, and plywood. The precarity of anything resulting from these materials is self-evident. Ball bearings. Yes, and it is up to you to scavenge it all. Best place to start would be Photo 24. There's got to be some of this stuff lying around there somewhere. It's a working photo lab after all. Dotted lines mark the edges of 3-dimensional objects unfolded into rectangles and curved flaps. While unintelligible, the form of the gun lurks somewhere inside those shapes. Mathematical and yet crude. The lines display a profoundly unsober competence. 2 objects. The larger one is a mould that goes around the barrel and includes a crude grip, magazine well, and the outer part of the bolt feed mechanism. The smaller object is the bowl. The spirit of Wang reaches out to you through the pages of the book. It doesn't just want the gun to be built, but to be used on somebody. Building it will be the test of fire. A shade in a leather jacket thrusts a decapitated head towards the reader, its lolling tongue and dripping viscera a promise of what's inside. The deity acknowledges its supplicant. Your heart rate ratchets up a joyful notch. Jagged metal, independently published metal. You know, these kinds of magazines often have illustrated centerfolds or detachable posters. At the cost of its resale value, condition, defiled. The pads of your fingers itch. The astringent chemical stink of cheap ink curls your delicate nostril hairs. The comic inks aren't even going to give you a head rush, but the nostalgia factor is undeniable. Black and white panels whip by, almost animated like a flipbook by the motion of your thumb. A word bubble filled with scratchy handwriting conjures a raspy voice in your mind's ear, a polyp on the perineum of society. A clawed fist hitting a pulped face, the violence itself off-panel, but somehow made visible by the suggestion of the word Krish in a sickly bold font. A figure, man, woman, or demon, it's unclear, being consumed by shadows, swallowed alive, screaming. It wasn't a guy, it was a moon cultist, part of the wicked cabal responsible for killing his companion and lover, Aurelia Mist, the healer with the transplanted hands of a dual-wielding assassin. They are the enemies of Shadow, led by the malignant Imago Jones, the Hombre's eternal arch-foe. This isn't even the best arc. Wait until he finally masters shadow puppetry in Volume 6. You pause on a splash panel, huge, taking up the entire 2-page spread. The Hombre stands in a pool of swirling water, a tiny ocean floating in a void of liminal space. The towers of the sunlit city stretch towards the empty sky, their basements flooded, massive fish splayed atop. Before him, a red cloak, in the shape of his own silhouette, his own body bag, rises out of the water, inviting him to enfold himself inside. The longer you look, the more details are revealed to you. A tiny face hidden in the brushstrokes that define a pool of water, the intricate brickwork on a horizon-line building. Flipping the magazine open to where its bindings hold the pages together, your eyes are filled with a horizontally oriented image, the comic's glorious cover, blown up in size.
If you think the philosophy of Chiang Wang is just about crafting little homemade guns, you are sorely mistaken. Giving you a momentary escape from the world of sheep. Look around you. You're inside it. More a prison of sheep, actually. A fluffy cage where the inmates are sheep, the guards are sheep, even the walls are sheep. That is society. Do not ask Wang for help. Reach out and take what you want. That is the Wang way of absolute self-reliance. Don't just make your own guns, make your own laws. Make your own drugs, print your own IOUs and introduce them into the flow of currency. Don't pay taxes, declare independence from the state and make people pay you taxes. And remember, you owe the prison of sheep nothing, and that includes remuneration for the items that you decide you need. Stealing implies the breaking of an agreed social contract. Did you sign a contract? Clearly the enemy got to you first. The world is yours, if you dare. The only thing stopping you is your ovine adherence to the rules. And if anyone tries to stop you, wang 'em.
Do you hear that? It's the sound of a city crying out. The light is a terrible drill, pressed into the street's exposed nerves. They beg for the relief of night. The light is too many sycophants. What the city needs is an acolyte of gloom. Practitioners of your craft understood that once.
You hear a great rustling, a million trench coats unfolding like moth wings.
Before the age of agencies and ledgers, the first spies communed with the dark. Your progenitors knelt before the umbral host, and thus the dark favored them. So the stories suggest: molecular ghosting, localized eclipses, umbral tentacles. The spooks of old wore the night like a second skin.
Shadows are not a substance, and subatomic tunneling is a quantum event, not a lifestyle choice.
All around, darkness recedes. Gone are the old ways, scorched by the glare of satellite pings and high-lumen flashlights. That is why the host calls upon you. Be the shroud the city needs. Walk the streets, snuffing out lanterns and hope. Be an acolyte of gloom and spread the word. Liquid night envelops you. You pour forth.